Okay, we are now recording. You ready for the show?
Are we doing a countdown anymore?
2, 4,
Green room
3, 3,
Man, we
2,
haven't gone non-live
1.
for. Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing it, man.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome to the Biz for Good Show, where we highlight misfits, outcasts, and renegades for the being good and doing good movement. We spotlight people that are changing the world by having integrity and honesty and creating an environment of connection, thus showing the true secret to success and creating a life of greater impact. So come on board and create your own Biz for Good life.
Welcome to the Biz for Good Show. I am your host, Bobby Glenn James, along with the Ryan Pilkington in the house. We got some news. We're changing things up, right, Ryan? We're doing all kinds of crazy new things, right? Oh, hey, where's the sound? Where's the sound? Yay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Soon to be the B for G show, right? The B for G show. Because Biz for Good's too much. Whatever. That's right. Whatever. We've got a great show. We're going to jump right into the show. Tell us about who we have on the show today, Ryan. And let's just jump into the new form, or the new-ish format.
It's kind of like going into a bath, really hot bath. Anyway,
really slowly.
Why do we do this?
I just like jump. No, I don't like jumping in, especially cold water. I hate that,
just
dude.
Do it. Get it over with.
It's like torture when you go in slowly.
Yeah, right.
It sucks.
So thanks for joining us for another episode of this B for G show, as we're calling.
Oh my gosh! What, you act like it's a surprise or something?
I'm
Dude,
still learning.
We've been talking about this for hours and hours.
5 minutes ago. Anyways, we have an amazing guest, Scott Anderson. He is joining us live from Omaha, Nebraska, not Oklahoma.
Not Oklahoma. No, two way different places.
Probably football rivalries. Probably.
He's wanting to jump in on that. No.
Scott Anderson is the founder and CEO of Doubledare, an executive coaching and consulting practice which dares entrepreneurs and executives to fully live their unique talent, passion, and purpose.
We double dog dare ya.
And in 2007, Anderson, he founded Addie's USA, a nonprofit, and he's published a book calling it Playing Big, right?
Playing Big.
Playing Big. Okay, there we go. See?
Playing Big.
And thanks for being on the show.
Yay! Scott Anderson, everyone. Scott Anderson on the show today. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. I love if I had known, I would have brought some of my own sound effects. I love it. I love that.
Some people love them. Some people think they're annoying. But what are you going to do?
I love it.
Like we always say, hey, it's our show. We can do whatever the crap we want, right?
That's right. That's right. You pushed record. Now it's all on you.
Yeah. That's right. So Scott, tell us a little bit about you. Just kind of, I just want to hear, kind of maybe your success story. If you have a success story that you believe is your success story, and how that connects with kind of Biz for Good, or business and good connect, how you do good in the world, does that connect with your success story? We're just going to turn it over to you to kind of get to know Scott a little bit. Does that sound good?
All right. Well, that's very brave of you to turn your show over to me.
It's all you, baby.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here. I've had a chance to listen to several shows, and I really like the crazy and spontaneous nature of this show. And so I'm glad to be here. And
what happens on the show stays on the show, Scott, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
Only one or two people will probably see this, or thousands.
Okay,
I mean, it depends on the day, but
yeah. Good. I will. That'll help me sleep better tonight. I wonder what personality I should come with today. Let's see. And which success story. God, I don't know that I have a success story. I mean, what I have done, though, is to do a lot of different things. Pretty curious guy, and probably way less risk averse than I should be, and or way more risk averse, I guess. Whichever. I don't mind risk, and so I plunged into a bunch of different things and started a bunch of different companies, and I've been fortunate that a lot of them have worked out. A couple of them were definite failures, but more successes than failures. And the thing that I'm doing now and have done the most of for the last couple of years are two things really. Doubledare, which is a executive coaching and consulting business for entrepreneurs, which are sort of my tribe. IR1. I've started 9 companies over my career, and there's something about the entrepreneur mindset that just is really fun for me. Just really fun, exciting people. Sometimes not very stable, but fun at parties. You'd rather be stuck in an elevator, I think, with an entrepreneur than with other people. But anyway, and so and then I've also had the opportunity to do some things that were really passion projects. And you mentioned at ease, which is a treatment technology accelerator for PTSD, and I am proud of that. We have a great board, great donors, great volunteers, and great staff. But we've worked with the Israeli government and Tel Aviv University to help develop some really exciting treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, initially for military families, and now we're also using it for civilians with post-traumatic stress disorder. For example, women recovering from domestic violence or sexual assault. So I think that's really doing some good. We have, again, a great team. I certainly don't do that by myself, but I'm proud of that for sure. I think that's some good stuff.
What got you into that? I'm curious. What's the story behind? Oh, I've got this great idea. All of us entrepreneurs have this great idea, but this one seems so, strong in the good and the passion. Where did that come from?
What happened was in 2007, there was a report it was called the Report on Wounded Warriors. The first time I'd ever heard the term. And it was basically, by then we'd been in Afghanistan and Iraq for 6 years. And we were beginning to see the fallout in returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. And the term post-traumatic stress disorder was just beginning to be talked about. But I read this report that was written by former Senator Bob Dole and a former Health and Human Services Secretary from the Clinton administration. And they were calculating how many veterans were returning to the United States with this relatively new thing, post-traumatic stress disorder. And it was, well, first of all, it was staggering to me that it was hundreds of thousands of people, number one. Number two, that it was affecting not just the individual veteran, but also their families. And so there was sort of this knock-on effect with civilians also having PTSD symptoms that didn't go to war, but that are members of the family. And so when you add it up, it's maybe 1 million people affected. This is back in 2007. But the report went on to say that less than a third of them would ever be treated by the VA anyway in those days. And there were a number of reasons in the report why that was true. And I was against going to Iraq and thought it was crazy. And when I read this report, it really made me mad. And especially when I saw that not only, something like and this is 2007 numbers, today it's millions of people, but there were something like 1 million people affected, including civilians, and but only the veterans of those could get help at the VA, but less than a third of them would actually ever go to the VA for a variety of reasons, confidentiality reasons, and some bias against the VA in those days and so forth. Anyway, so that was sort of the origin of it. And at about the same time, I read an article in The Economist published about some psychologists at Tel Aviv University who were creating treatment technology originally aimed at anxiety and depression but ultimately these two doctors in Tel Aviv who were former commandos, which is essentially the equivalent of Delta Force or SEALs in the United States. These doctors were former commandos and had PTSD and created this technology for themselves and for their brothers in arms. And really incredible technology in that instead of having to go back and have people suffering from PTSD to have to sort of relive or retell their stories, which a lot of people can't do, this technology worked in a completely different way. It worked much faster, and it was a computer app kind of a idea versus hours and hours of individual or group therapy. So we've been fortunate to work with them now for almost 14 years and have finally launched this technology in the U.S. and very, very exciting. It scales. The cost is very low because it is an app-based treatment model. But we've conducted several clinical trials since then, and the evidence is really good. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. I love it. Gosh, that's the key when we find those kind of passions. And we had a person on a while back that she changed her whole world by helping someone get off death row. And it's amazing how we get these passions and it changes the whole world, right? Our world anyway. And that's what the Biz for Good show is about and stuff. And I think you kind of epitomize that with your what you're doing. And with that said, we're changing things up, right, Ryan?
Right.
We want to kind of put you on the spot a little bit. We've kind of given you a warning.
I'm ready.
We have the wheel. What are we going to call this wheel? The wheel of
I don't know.
Business craziness.
I like that. I like
the wheel
that.
of crazy.
The wheel of crazy. Oh man!
He in his bio here is a Doubledare. I don't want to steal his thing.
Doubledare.
It's like Doubledare.
That is good though.
That,
Yeah, that's good.
For this segment, we'll call it the Doubledare wheel for you.
Okay, so we can all see. I am going to spin the wheel. Okay, Ryan.
Okie dokie.
And where will it end? When did you become, how do we know what, become the expert? I don't know.
The expert. Oh, boy. Yeah.
When did you become the expert? So, this is new. So we're putting you on the spot. You're the guinea pig.
Good. I like this. Yeah, it reminds me of something that my one of my many personalities asks me
Yeah.
When did you become the expert?
That's so true. I think we.
Yeah.
What is it? Imposter syndrome, right?
Syndrome. Right?
When did you become the expert? Yeah. Hey, I've got 10,000 hours of something, and I know that's what they say. Once I've had 10,000 hours, I'm the expert, right? So
that's right.
That.
Oh, that's such a good question.
You could call a friend.
To me, what it really boils down to right now is, if I can repeatedly help solve someone else's problem, then I might be an expert at that, to the extent that I can again and again and again over many different individuals over a long period of time, can genuinely help somebody relieve the pain they're in. I guess I would say I was an expert in relieving that pain. But I like the wagging fingers. So what makes you an expert? Because that's really what affects so many entrepreneurs with whether you call it imposter syndrome or whatever you call it. I think that's a lot. Probably that voice in entrepreneurs' heads is probably a good thing because it keeps us digging, it keeps us hungry, it keeps us curious and wanting to learn to try to answer that nagging question. What makes you the expert?
Yeah. With that said, and because this is a new thing that we're trying, so your program right now is executive business coaching, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit and say why would I, as an executive, use you to coach me? Why would I do that?
I guess I would say there's a kind of a set of circumstances that I'm really familiar with and have the scars to prove my expertise in, and that is hitting plateaus. Most of the people that I work with are successful, but they've hit a point in either their professional life and also usually, in addition to that, their personal lives where they're plateaued, where either their excitement and fun is plateaued, or the growth of their businesses more often is plateaued. Their excitement around doing what they're doing is plateaued, and that's usually when I get involved with people. And I do feel as though I'm sort of an expert in that because I've been through it many, many times and through many different companies. And whether we call that sort of burnout or or just plateauing or a 7-year itch or whatever it is. But one of the things I know about entrepreneurs, and certainly with me, is that there is a predictable cycle of incredible amount of activity and excitement, followed by an extraordinary amount of growth and success. But there's almost inevitably a plateau that follows at some point.
I love it.
And that's when I get involved with my clients.
So, because this kind of jarred us loose with some, at least it jarred me loose with some questions. Yeah. So you're an executive coach, because there's coaches, there's consultants, there's mentors, and there's always this, what the heck does that mean? So I'm just curious to you, what does that mean? And why, what is a coach compared to a consultant or a mentor? Or, how do you feel about that?
I guess normally being a coach involves, and it can mean so many things. But what it usually involves in today's parlance is really having the client lead themselves to the solutions versus a consultant that would get in and fix the problems with the client. I think my approach is a bit of a hybrid between coaching and consulting. The only reason to hire a coach is if you're stuck on your own and or you want to move much faster and much farther than you would on your own. If no one comes to me because they're on a hot streak, and they come because they may have been on a hot streak, but right now they're stuck. And typically that takes the form of, again, sales are plateaued, profit is plateaued, growth is plateaued. Their energy and excitement may have ebbed. They may be burned out by what they're doing. And they've hit this, in any case, a real painful plateau that's very deeply frustrating.
Cool.
So that's it. My whole job is to blow through that as quickly as possible, get them moving again, and to get them moving faster than they could move on their own.
Awesome. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Are there any stories that come to mind over the years that you've seen dramatic changes in these coaching experiences?
Yeah, do you have a story, a dramatic change?
Sure. Yeah. I really think that all of my clients, and kudos to them, they're really accomplished, talented people. If I had to give them, if their problem was talent, I certainly couldn't help them. But we do tend, as entrepreneurs, to get in our own way. And this is a simple example, but really powerful. I was working with a woman who's very successful commercial real estate broker and developer. Was making lots and lots of money. Was very, very highly regarded in a mostly male industry, but was just burned out. And in spite of her success, and in spite of all the money she was making, it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel right, and it was hard for her to get herself motivated. And what we were able to do at one of my earliest clients, and so I have a soft spot for her. But she was able to, from scratch, create a business. Well, she was a barrel racer. She rode horses in barrel races at rodeos and in barrel racing competition. And she really was a cowgirl, fundamentally, and not the kind of gal who she had to be 9 to 5, driving a Lexus and wearing Armani suits and heels and all of that in her commercial brokerage business. who she really was at her core was a cowgirl. And so, make a long story short, what we got to was she abandoned this very, very lucrative commercial real estate practice and started a practice selling farms and ranches on behalf of her farmer and rancher friends. And it was a huge roll of the dice. Everybody thought she was crazy to turn her back on this great career. And she has, she's made way more money now than she was making even then. But the most important thing is that she is way happier pulling up in a giant pickup truck with cowboy boots on and a hat versus driving up in a Lexus. So it's kind of, it's sort of, I try to take an holistic approach, and my clients typically need an holistic solution. And in her case, it was, she wanted to do something different, but she really wanted to just be who she really is. That was one of the most inspiring stories. And the thing I liked best about it was it was all without a net. It wasn't like she had a guarantee this was going to work out. She had no idea, but she had this passion. She thought it made sense, and went through a lot of dark nights of the soul until it really caught on, and she's done exceptionally well. But the main thing is that she feels good at the gut level, and she's not, she's not doubting who she is anymore.
I love it. That's so. I want to ask, because you're a coach. Oh,
go ahead.
Did you have something, Ryan?
No, you're good.
How do you feel about goals? I'm curious. We've kind of went into some goal stuff. Me and Ryan have been talking about it and doing goal setting and stuff like that. How do you feel about goals? Is that something everybody needs? Is that what you teach your executives? Does it matter? I'm just curious.
Well, I think, obviously you have to have something that you want. As they say, like the drowning man wants oxygen. I mean, there has to be something that you want, that you want for others, that you want for yourself, that you want for your community, and so forth. But interesting, yeah, I sort of preach goal shedding. Every year I have my clients, instead of setting goals, I ask them to shed goals. Because what I find, especially with entrepreneurs, is this feeling that time is infinitely expansive, and that if necessary, there's 28 hours in a day or 34 hours in a day. So, yeah, right. So every year, the first thing that I do is goal shedding, because what I find is that in a year's time, and sometimes in less time than that, goals that were hugely important are now irrelevant, and but are really sand in the gears. And because so many entrepreneurs want to complete things just because they said they would, shedding goals, I found, is more powerful than setting them. The overarching goal is, obviously in the hearts and minds of, I think, every human being. But in some ways, goal setting is sort of an industry. There's all kinds of apps we can buy and notebooks we can buy, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
There's a great book, you've probably seen this, by Gary Keller, the real estate guy, called The Most Important Thing, or The One Thing, I think it's called. And, and this is sort of the ultimate goal shedding, but what he basically preaches is that at any one moment of time, since we can only do one thing at a time anyway, at any one moment in time, there's one thing we can do that will knock down the most other dominoes, or that will advance our overall goal the most. And I love that really single-minded focus. And also because it seems to be much closer to what the reality of entrepreneurs really is. At any moment in time, there's one thing I could be doing that nobody else can do better, faster, or cheaper than me, and that it's mine to do. But I can only do one thing at a time. So what is that one thing that's going to knock down the most other dominoes? That to me is a really valid way of taking dead aim and taking action. Whereas if I'm juggling 25 goals, I really don't think that serves anybody.
I love that. I think me and Ryan are doing something called the U6MG, the ultimate 6-month goal. And
nice.
What the cool thing though, and it's what you're saying. It's exactly what you're saying. The one thing, the problem with goals is, especially with entrepreneurs, we put this goal, this really cool goal, but then it's just there. And we're supposed to go get that thing without having a roadmap of how to do it. Because, you don't just magically get it. You got to do a lot of those one things to get a big thing. And that's where people, I think, they mess up when they do the goals, and that's why they have to shed them, because they didn't put the roadmap to get to it, and the little things you got to do. You've got to do these tiny goals to get to that big goal. Right. You have to do something, and I think we throw goals around and think, oh, this is going to be, this is what I get to do, but then nothing happens unless you have a coach, unless you have a mentor, unless you have somebody that gives you a path on how to get it. And
exactly. I think that's one of the most, one of the reasons I got started in coaching was that I had engaged a coach myself and was amazed I engaged him for like 90 days. And I was just amazed at the end of that period how much we had accomplished, how much more we had accomplished than I had accomplished in a long, long time. And I wondered why that was true. It felt like I'd accomplished more in 3 months than I had in the previous 3 years. And the main reason was that my coach was helping me discern, what do we do right now, this moment? What do we do right now?
Boom.
And, and then things really begin to happen. And the best part about that is that I'm not doing the 10, as Buddha said, the 10,000 things, all of the other things. Since I'm only doing one and I'm not frittering away my energy on things that are irrelevant, you really do move mountains. I mean, this At Ease organization that I mentioned was one of like 4 goals that I had. And in 90 days time, we'd raised $50 million, built a website, wrote a mission statement, reached out to the Israeli government and Tel Aviv University. We just covered a huge amount of ground, but it was because we're really single-minded and because I had a coach help me stay away from the shiny objects and squirrels that most entrepreneurs are going to get distracted by.
Yep. And that's the problem. We go in all these different directions. If you just have somebody that can say, don't go do 40 things a day, do 3. Do 3 things a day that connect to only one thing that you have to get done that day. Exactly. We can all do that. We as entrepreneurs, we're the worst, man. We pile it on and just pile it on when, man, if you have a way to get there that's more, it's about doing less to do more, right? Is that
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. Ryan, what do you think, man? Give us some last input. I've been dominating and even taking over for Scott. I apologize. I got excited there for a minute.
It's all gravy. No, it's good. I approved everything. It's a stamp on it all.
Pilkington stamp.
I am
Scott, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been great. Do you have any links? Oh, yes. What? No.
Do you have any links or tips or challenges?
Yeah.
Since Bobby was going to take my thunder.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man.
If anybody is interested in the goal shedding challenge, go to Doubledare. My website's doubledareyou.us. And if you're interested in the goal shedding challenge, just message me or set up a call or whatever. Go to our website and schedule a 5-minute call or something. I'll give you the goal shedding challenge, and it really is transformative. If you can focus on one important thing for 30 days, you'll hit the ball out of the park versus 10 things for 90 days. And so that's the challenge. If you want to take the no shed or the goal shedding challenge, just let me know. doubledareyou.us.
doubledareyou.us.
You got it.
All right, Ryan, you going to take us out of here?
Well, I was going to do a double dare.
Okay.
You should.
Do you want to spin the wheel again?
Yeah.
You can pat. Oh, okay.
We want to do this? You want to do this, Ryan? All right, let's do it. This is the first time, so we got to get it all out of there. Here we go, baby. Where it stops, nobody knows. Ooh, any regrets in business? On business deals.
As I said pre-show, I can do this alphabetically or numerically, or we can do it by state or time zone. I'm not sure what you have in mind, but Yeah. As Sheryl Crow famously wrote, there's nothing like regret to remind you you're alive. And I feel very alive.
There you go.
Booyah!
You can end right there if you like.
That's a great
Yeah.
space. Is there anything just really quickly that comes, maybe that we can use as business people to go, oh yeah, maybe I should look for that, or just a tidbit that you learned from?
All of my regrets are about ego. All of them, every single one, and
That's
all
awesome.
of it has been about putting me first.
Wow.
And all the business mistakes and all the regrets all have to do with ego. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
theme.
right on the money.
Awesome.
It's interesting. Me and Ryan both been a part of a lot of entrepreneur groups, and it's just interesting to watch. You'll see a person come in that's very teachable and very open to being taught, and they're going far. And then you'll have somebody that has this drive and this passion, but they are not teachable. You can't tell them, hey, this. They're like, no, I got it figured out. And I have very seldom saw those folks succeed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so you're
it's
right
true.
on the money.
Yeah, I like to refer to life as the cosmic rock tumbler, but it tends to take the rough edges off. Right?
Yeah.
I love it. Scott,
dime.
thank you so much. This has been
Thank
great,
you.
man. This is
care.
so good. Ryan, you going to take us out?
Yeah, I suppose we do it the same way we always do it, right?
I don't know. We're going to change it up someday, but for right now,
For right now,
let's end the show.
All right. We
The way
always
you like it.
Thanks, Scott, again for being on the show, and we always end the
My
show.
pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. We end the show with a be good, do good. And we say it hashtag be good, do good.
Hashtag be good, do good.
We say it 3 times, and we get crazy and louder.
We get louder and louder.
You can join us.
Or you can just look at us like, oh my gosh, look at those crazy
What
people.
are we doing?
Hashtag be good.
Here we go.
For
Hashtag
good.
Yeah,
good.
be good, do good.
Be good, do good.
Be good, too good.
Yes.
Hashtag
Here
Be good, too good. Excellent.
Hashtag
Be good, do good. Hashtag be good, do good. Hashtag be good, do good.
And that's a wrap.
Booyah.